Oh my god, I'm so tall. We have to at least let people assume that we're like of the same stature. I see people in person and the one thing is, oh my god, you're so tall in person.
Ooh, you're so tall. Let's have some fun.
It's like, yes, because when I'm not on my knees, I'm actually at a certain height, you know?
That's so funny because they only say you're so handsome to me.
Well, that's because they always see you on your back, so. What? Hey, roll the opening.
Hello!
Welcome back to
What's Safeword?
I'm Amp.
I'm Mr. Christopher.
And today,
we are reviewing porn?
no, that's not, no.
That's what you promised me.
I didn't know, it's not what I did not promise you that. Today we are, Daddy, what is sex work?
Sex work is having sex for money.
Technically, yeah, but that's a pretty generic term. Today we are asking a sex worker. We've done Ask a Daddy, we've done Ask a Dom, a sub, a pet player.
And I've been all those things. How many hats do I have?
Wow, that's a lot of hats. Where did those come from? And while our world doesn't really treat sex work always the best, and there's still a lot of criminalization that exists around it, there are ways in which you can ethically do it. And while we are not professional lawyers, we're not giving you legal advice, we're not telling you what you're legally allowed to do, we are here today to answer some of your questions around sex work, what it is, how to do it, and as sex workers...
Which corner I work? What?
Let's have some fun.
Do they still work on court? No, they don't. Now it's all online. It's so much easier. But let's get into that. Let's get into your questions. These are all questions asked by you. So I hope you're ready for a little bit of education talking and Daddy being... Oh, well...
A financial companion.
We're also not propositioning ourselves in any way. We're just providing a place where you can have an open conversation. So, to the first question. That's their name. I want you to try to...
CDNCVBMB... It's like CDM dump.
Oh, okay, you've broken Daddy. And they ask, hey, how's it going?
Good, great.
Yeah, no,
so well.
Yeah, episode over.
Was that really a question?
The first question that came in. The next question from Dom is a little bit more fulfilling and asks, how do you get started and do you find the work fulfilling or is it just a job?
I think that depends on what type of sex work you're gonna do.
That's fair.
So if you just want to do like porn, which is sex work, you would have to get the interest of a porn studio or a company.
Which includes like putting together a portfolio, nice pictures of yourself, make sure you have like all the angles, bam, bam, bam. As well as just being presentable. You still have to treat it like a job. And that's something that, as when I was doing sex work regularly, like people forgot. There were so many instances where the workers would get on set and they thought they were just there to party and have sex and not have to do anything professional. But there's a lot to it.
Yeah, you have to show up.
Well, first and foremost, show up.
And show up rested and ready to go.
Yeah, there was one time I was rooming with my scene partner and he was smoking pot in a non-smoking room. He was FaceTiming his girlfriend at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And then he also wasn't sure if he was bi, but he had a girlfriend and he needed the money. So it wasn't the best scene.
And it's work. So you imagine having sex and then someone telling you to stop. We need to get a camera and a light in there.
So it is fulfilling in many ways, but how do you get started was the main question there.
So how I got started back 30 years ago, I answered an ad in Frontiers magazine to jockstrap wrestle for $150.
They used to call it, instead of sex work, it was jockstrap
Jockstrap wrestling. They were gonna videotape me wrestling around in a jockstrap with a happy ending. It was $150. I was a poor college kid, so that was a lot of money and I could get off and make money.
And I kind of had a similar, but although more lucrative offer, working with some higher end studios that I had friends that worked at, and I just wanted to experience and try some new, more extreme kink stuff, and I had a great time and I got paid. But it did require, again, a good resume. They do a little background check, they ask you what you're into. It is like doing a job interview. That said, it's still very fulfilling, and sometimes you get a scene partner where you feel like you should be paying the studio. Now, the next question comes from Toxic, who asks, what's the weirdest thing you've ever been paid to do? For me, I had a guy once that just wanted to see me sniffing and showing my armpits off, and then as an exchange, because sex work can be monetary, but can also be just mutually exclusive, he got me a PlayStation 4.
I had a client once who wanted to Skype cam me tickling my own feet.
Oh, that's impossible.
Exactly. It's like, have you ever tried to tickle yourself?
Yes,
it's
over
impossible.
and over again. I know, but tickling other people.
Dude, that's fine.
But to that, like, you also have to be good at interpersonal skills, a little bit of acting if you want to be successful, and being able to dirty talk or play to the audience or single person. Now, I didn't get off with that one instance, which was kind of the weirdest, but one of the most fulfilling for me because I needed a new PlayStation 4, and at the time I was a little bit more broke college student. But there are other times where like someone wanted me to just sit on a balloon and bounce around naked.
Ooh, see, I did that for you for free.
The next one from Ruckus asks, do you take clients you aren't attracted to? If so, how do you maintain excitement? What is the most difficult part of that kind of work? To start with that question, I think you also have to explain what having a client means, because some people do sex work in front of cameras, which is considered porn, and that is legal because there's a camera creating art of you having sex, which is meant to be sold. And then there's other ways in which you take on a client through other means and websites, which you have to still turn in paperwork, and that's where you get clients that you might not always be attracted to. I've never done it myself that way, but Daddy?
I have, and so I never asked for what they look like before setting up a meeting, and I'm always pleasantly surprised. There's only been 1 or 2 times where it's been like a turnoff, but I can get into the good part of everyone, and usually clients are very, very, very respectful of you and your time. If not, then I would shut this thing down.
And that makes sense and is only fair. Like, again, this is like taking on any kind of client in any sort of field, except for, you know, the sex and naked parts maybe. You are still allowed to say no. You are still allowed to take that consent back. And I've heard many a horror story where a client shows up to a worker, they look nothing like any of the pictures, nothing like what they said they would. They refuse to pay properly. And sex workers are very robust, they're very strong, and they're very good about weeding out inappropriate or shady people because we do talk, you know?
I think because I do fetish, I do a preliminary interview to find out what they're into, and then that's where I get a sense of their personality.
Yeah, you vet them, which is a way in which most kinksters should do anything with a scene, but is actually a very smart way for kinky sex workers to make sure that they're taking care of themselves as well.
And the other thing that I find with clients who can afford this type of service is a lot of them are professionals who just don't have the time to go out and have this recreational sex, so they would much rather pay for it and get exactly what they want, and I actually respect that.
And even then, some clients are those that might have a disability that needs special care that most people are not willing to do. Sex workers are also very giving in many ways.
And it's a great way for clients to learn how to do a specific kink the correct way. You hire a pro dom who knows how to do flogging and can show you how to do it appropriately.
And you know what doesn't come along with that pro dom? Stigma, any sort of shame.
Yeah.
These people and sex workers, especially the kinky positive ones, are gonna be someone who are really, really supportive of what you want to do, so long as it's consensual, respectful, and you guys are doing it safely.
Yeah.
K2 asks, what resources have you found or were introduced to help you market yourself widely?
I kind of started out with my Tumblr blog. That kind of got my name out there, and then Tumblr shut down, and now I use Twitter.
I think that there are plenty of how-tos by sex workers. I've always really disliked the,
how do you do it? Help me get started, because
I never had a resource back in the day, and I just jumped into it and did it to the best of my ability, respect, and treated it like a real job, and I've always had a lovely time and always gotten paid well.
And I don't think everyone does it the same way.
Sure.
So, and everyone's got their own individual look and what they're into. And now, with the advent of OnlyFans and Just for Fans, everyone's got a platform. So now, just being a sex worker is commonplace. Your generation has now caught on to, instead of just putting it out there for free, you might as well just have a side platform.
And to that, everyone does it differently, and HELIX knows that. Today's sponsor is HELIX Sleep. I wish I was joking. That was actually a really good segue, though. Thank you for that.
And whether you're gonna sleep or turn a trick, HELIX has the mattress for you.
And HELIX especially drives it home. They know everyone is different with the HELIX Sleep Quiz. Now, HELIX Sleep has been one of our longest running sponsors here on the channel, and HELIX makes it easy for you to find the mattress for you using their HELIX Sleep Quiz. For you, yourself, or you and a partner. Now again, you can do for one sleeper or two, enter in their names, their heights, their weights, as well as sleeping positions. So me and Daddy might have different kinds of sleep positions, maybe even firmness preferences. And if you happen to be like us, who are a little older, we do have body aches and pains that we can also specify. Lord knows my knees will never be the same since COVID. But we ended up with a what, Daddy? A dusk?
Lots!
And Daddy, how are you enjoying it?
I love my dust lux. Say that 3 times fast.
Dust
lux. Dust lux.
Oh,
Dust lux.
Yep. And since getting our mattresses, I've actually never had sleep that was this good. I had an old mattress that had some springs in it, and because Helix has springs and this lovely like cushioning sensation, they're not only the best mattress for sex, but they're just the best mattress to get a good night's sleep.
And before I got this mattress, I had my other mattress for over 10 years.
Plus, Helix not only ships to you very, what, Daddy?
Quickly.
Got some scissors or?
Oh my God! I got it.
And when you're ready to really let it inflate. Do not try this at home. What do you do, Daddy?
Ooh, it's the opposite of a vacuum rack. It goes, ready? It's eating me! Whoa!
If you've ever bought a mattress, there is that nagging sensation of like, ooh, is this the right mattress for me? I don't know if I like this. So we especially like that they have what, Daddy?
100-night sleep trial.
So over 3 months for free that you get to try it out. And if you don't like it, you can ship it back and you get a free refund.
And don't forget, Helix has a 10-year warranty.
And they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans. So,
If you go to Helix Sleep today and use offer code WATT, you get up to $200 off your mattress and some free pillows on us.
Thank you, Helix Sleep.
The next one from Chris asks, what's one assumption you were just tired of hearing?
So one assumption I hear all the time is that all my clients are ugly and unattractive, and that has rarely been the case. As a matter of fact, there have been many people I've been like, I would pay you to have sex.
I would say that for me, assumptions I would hear all the time when actively posting was like people overtly being sexual and pushing their sex and kinks on me in such a way that feels kind of gross. Like posting a picture of yourself and then the person saying really degrading things to you in comments that are just unrelated. Or the assumption of STIs and STDs, that we all have HIV, when in fact, sex workers are some of the most tested, most regularly in the doctor's office, making sure that they are up on their prep, than any other marginalized community I've ever seen. The next one, and it's a two-parter from Kate, asks, what is your favorite part and what is your least favorite part?
My favorite part personally is at the end of a scene with someone, they are so thankful and grateful to be touched. It makes me feel like I'm doing a really good service for someone.
Okay, my favorite part, it gives me the freedom as someone who was behind and in front of the camera, like producing content and not so much working with clients. It provided me the freedom to work whenever I wanted, however I wanted. I could plan and be off for a week doing shoots at the studio, be home, and then get my other work done. And now that OnlyFans and other platforms like that have started up, it's become a lot more easy to work from home, especially. So I get to designate my time, my scenes, my rates, and if I want to work outside of that, I have that flexibility.
My least favorite part actually is time limits. So especially when you're doing BDSM and kink, bondage takes a long time. So by the time you get somebody tied up and into the action, you've gone in 45 minutes. So time limits actually set this barrier that sometimes I ignore time.
My least favorite part would probably be the stigmatization that society has on sex work, because I think that drives a lot of the commentary from people that are kind of hateful towards sex work. I think that drives platforms to stigmatize and put us on terror watch lists. I think that stigma and that misunderstanding of people appreciating other people's pleasure, getting gratification for their own, owning their sexuality, like that is all beautiful, wonderful things that we tend to put such a stigma on in TV, radio, pop culture. And I wish that wasn't there. The next one from Lobo says, wanna collab? Girl, we've already worked with you.
Collab, bro?
No, we've literally. But also, I hate that wanna collab.
Well, now everyone's got a Just for Fans or OnlyFans, and so now that's how people are having sex, by collabing. I know so many people who have just started a Just for Fans or OnlyFans so they can have sex with other creators.
But that's okay, as long as they're being responsible and they're documenting things. Make sure you pay your taxes. That's fun. I love that. I just hate that I was in the bar the other night and I was talking with someone who had a wanna collab, and I was like, oh, are you a YouTuber? And I was so confused, like, no, like, you know.
OnlyFans, Just for Fans. This is what
And I was
collab.
like, oh.
Collab is now the new word for hookup. Collab, bro.
I hate that.
Collab, bro.
I don't like that.
Collab, bro.
The next one from Terrible Lotus is similar, but a little bit different, and asks, if you do have physical work with clients, how do you manage intimacy with someone you, for whatever reason, might not personally find appealing? I think that This is a really interesting question because sex workers, while sometimes they might work with people that they might not find physically appealing, there are so many different aspects to a person. And I don't know that physically appealing is something I generally even use to describe people, because I'm more interested in what you're into, why you're into it, how it turns you on. And I think there are so many other ways that you can get into and be attracted to someone than what is physically appealing.
So, as a huge narcissist myself, I just turn it around and just let them worship me. And just make that
Way to
part
do
of
it.
the scene.
So long as everyone's consenting and they're down for that, that's a way
they're
to
usually
do it.
down for it.
Have you seen him?
I mean, hello.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
A question from Pup Amp: how do you deal with own personal narcissism?
I like to use my narcissism for good. So
Put that on.
I
a shirt.
feel like that I put my kink out there so much that it's actually giving other people an okay to be that way. Narcissism for good.
I think that everyone online is a little narcissistic, and the way in which sex workers own their narcissism, and again, I use the word narcissism, but I don't mean it in a negative way. It's almost like ethical slut. Like you're showing off something that you're proud of, and you should be proud of your body.
Ethically narcissistic.
No, that's not a thing.
I'm an ethical narcissist.
No. Next question. Next question.
Ethical.
Next question.
Narcissist.
Next question. The next one from Silent Fox asks, how do you not let the awkwardness show on your face? As someone who works...
Practice.
Oh, well, yeah. I just wake up every morning and I look in the mirror and I just go, you're not gonna smile. No.
Cheeky.
Do you know how many people are so awkward in a bar?
Yeah.
I mean, that isn't just clients. That is just our society now. I think everyone is awkward.
Especially after COVID. But I think sex workers are very good, whether they're doing client work or they're behind a camera. I also think that sex workers are just unabashedly social, too. They're usually, not always, much better about social skills, reading a vibe or a room, and bantering. Oh my God, so many people don't know how to talk.
And they know how to make you feel good because there's money involved. So they will make you feel good and have the personality to do that, and that's what you're drawn to. Pay me.
No, you're paying me.
No,
I'm
pay me.
I'm making you feel good.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You're my sugar puppy.
No. Doing studio work especially, it's gonna be awkward. Sometimes people fart, or sometimes there's a little bit of gray matter, or sometimes your partner's just weird and awkward. I just think it helps to laugh. I'm not talking about you.
Did you just call me weird and awkward?
No. What the fuck is it? I've had plenty of partner in a scene that either was weird or even offensive at times with how they use terminology. And I kind of just have to get the work done, give them a money shot so they give me my money bank payment. Give me money. What money?
No.
You still
I'm
owe
not
me.
paying you.
You
I
still
owe
owe
you
me.
nothing.
But the best way to cover up an awkward... So give me an awkward face. No, it's awkward. The best way to cover that up is make a moaning face instead. So if you feel like you're about to get awkward or laugh, just start make a moaning face. Like,
Don't take the puppy's advice.
Next question. The next question from Atomic Brunette asks, do clients ever tell you about their lives like they do in the movies?
All the time. As a matter of fact, a lot of it is therapy sometimes. So a lot of times I've had clients that we actually don't get to the sex. We get to a cuddle and talking for so long that the sex actually doesn't come.
And that's the nicety of sex work, is it comes in many forms. Sex work, people that do professional adult body work, those that do actual sex, or even those in front of or behind the camera. And hey, sex educators could fall under that too.
And it's very therapeutic, especially for someone going through a hard time, low body self-esteem, going through a breakup. All of those times you want some compassion and intimacy with somebody, and sometimes paying a sex worker does that. And it's very therapeutic with the happy ending.
But not a replacement for therapy, should be noted, please. Although I would love to see you doing a scene for your Only Whatever, where you're pretending to be a therapist and just making it sexy.
Why does this make your hole so big?
Oh, okay.
How do you feel about it? Interesting.
Interesting.
Imagine if the people in porn, instead of saying fuck, oh yeah, oh, interesting.
How's that make you feel? How does that make you feel? You like that, don't ya? How's that make you feel?
From Pupperdax asks, knowing what you know now, What would you tell yourself at the start of your career?
Charge more.
Actually, don't bottom until they like offer you this. Like there was this thing in old studio porn where like someone would only top and then they'd wait for the studio to pay them the big bucks to bottom for the first time.
Oh, those were the days in
so
the
funny.
90s. Yeah.
No, in the 2000s too.
Really?
A few of them.
We used to, a lot of the straight actors, we would convince after 3 films to bottom, and we'd pay them a couple thousand more.
And it's not like that anymore, of course.
No, there's no studio shooting porn.
But if I were to give myself some pointers for myself back in the day when I was just getting started, learn to clean out properly for long day shoots first and foremost, and document everything in short form videos that you can post later when a certain kind of platform pops up where you can post your own stuff and you don't have to worry about a studio overhead. I wish I had some of those clips still. My God, those old phones, I'll never find them again. And I would also say to not get so in your own head. With a line of work like sex work can be, it's very self-conscious of how you look all the times, what you're doing. Like if I were a few pounds over, like I felt fat. And that's not fair or true because someone is gonna wanna see your body, consensually of course, if you feel comfortable doing that kind of stuff. But there's a person out there, an audience for your content. There were so many questions in this thread about body positivity or people that might be too thick or just larger bodied.
Trust me, I've been shooting porn for 30 years. I've shot some of the most gorgeous guys on the planet, and they all have insecurities about their looks. They all think they're a little too fat, or their nose is big, or they don't look perfect now. As the years go on, you look back at those photos and you're like, oh my God, I did look good.
And although those people are gorgeous, and all of those people do fit the perfect narrative to someone who wants to have some sexy time pleasure to you. Again, feel confident if you're gonna get into it. If you don't want to, that's fine. But know that someone out there thinks that you are gorgeous and beautiful just the way you are.
Well, that being said, realize sex workers have lives too. They do have time off, and when you see them out at an event, somewhere just having their normal life, treat them like a normal person.
Yeah, I think that boundaries are a really important thing to bring up at the very end of this conversation, especially because even when I'm online and I'm on platforms that are not meant to be sexual, are not sexually charged maybe even, I'll get comments from people that are like, ooh, I saw this thing of you and daddy doing this thing on this website that's wink wink sexual. And I just gotta be like, you guys, read the room. Boundaries still,
We do.
you know? Yeah, we do, but like boundaries still. And treat sex workers like normal people, and don't spam message them on like their OnlyFans site expecting them to answer right away because they might not. They might have something going on, okay? I'm sorry, I didn't get back to you right away. I'm very nice. That said, if the safe word is mentioned, then scenes should stop. And whether you're a sex worker or a client, you should always have a safe word. Today's safe word is...
Money shot.
Explain money shot.
The money shot, and some studios used to do this. So imagine trying to have sex for 5 hours and then you get to the end and you're just so tired that you can't come. So sometimes the actors would just wear out and not be able to come at the end of the day. And the studios would get upset because that was the money shot.
Oh, I've had scenes where my partner didn't get off and I did and they didn't get paid. But that was because it was in the clause of the contracts and the studio work, which is why I like that online platforms have become more accessible for people. It not only gives people that 9 to 5 from their own home that's comfortable, but also gives them the reservations to say no, they can do their own job, and they can build this brand, which I find fascinating. Like some people are a bit more real. I just, I present myself as I am online, but there are other people that have like full-on personas, like they're nothing like their online persona in person, and I just kind of love that. It's acting.
And I've never worked for a studio that actually didn't pay if you didn't do the money shot.
I have.
I've faked the cum shot many a time with lotion and cream.
You know what? Let's save that for another episode, though, where we can do porn myths and debunk things with maybe a different topic.
Teaser.
I'll tease you, yeah. You like that, don't
I
you?
do. How much do you want?
I want you to leave a comment down below. Or heck, if you want to see that episode where we do porn myths debunked, leave a like.
And if you like ringing bells, ring that bell down below.
Yeah, you better.
You like that, don't you?
And don't forget to subscribe. We will see y'all next time. What's a safe word? Goodbye.
Bye.
We can actually get tips on YouTube now.
Can we?
Yeah, there's a little tip button. I'm not
Really?
saying you need to, but I'm just
No,
saying.
tip us. Tip us, tip us, tip us, tip us.
Or check out
Tip us over.
Safewordshop.com, where we have fun designs that you
Merch.
can support us and you get something in return.
There you go. Win-win.